Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel, and thank you so much for supporting me by watching ads, liking, commenting and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Today's reading is a kind of shorter one. We're mostly focusing on our channeled messages oracles, and we do use the tarot a little bit later in the reading for deeper messages. I do think there's a lot that comes out today to do with things that people's past partners maybe regret, and definitely a lot, especially in the tarot, to do with the deeper lessons that eventuated out of those regrets. I definitely am expecting a mix of people to find this video in terms of kinds of connections. Like, I think some people will return to this connection, some people won't. So yeah, there is definitely very mixed messages in some of the readings. Others are a bit more one way or the other. But yeah, just using your intuition and discernment to make sure you're in the right place, and adjusting any messages as necessary based on what your intuition is telling you about the future outcome of your connection. Which in the age of Aquarius, I'm sure you are all more than capable of doing. But I won't hold you for much longer. We'll finish setting up our beautiful ritual space to do our reading today, and then we will get into today's channeled messages. Okay, Wildings, let's get into today's video. So as you can tell by the title, we're going to be asking about any past partners' regrets and lessons from your connection with them. This can be lessons they've already learned, lessons they're learning, lessons that they will learn by the end of their kind of like healing journey and process. And this can be a level where there's still like kind of lots of energy in the connection, and the connection may not necessarily be over, maybe past connections that are definitely closed. So yeah, just using your intuition and discernment to slightly adjust any messages. I will speak to kind of all situations, but yeah, sometimes there's kind of a more dominant energy that I'll mostly be referring to. So use your intuition and discernment if the messages feel right, just like maybe need to be adjusted a little. But we're going to try and do this reading fairly quickly. It is fairly late here. We should still have a couple of hours of daylight, but there is supposed to be storms coming in. So yeah, we'll see how we go for light. Pile 3 or even 2 might have a bit of an ambiance, but I'm sure it'll still pass the vibe check. I am getting over a cold, so I am a little bit more out of breath than I normally am. I'm trying to do this reading standing up. I don't know if it'll help, but yeah, I thought while being out of breath, I might try and stand for it. We're trying to do a little bit of a shorter reading today, maybe not an hour and a half to 2 hours that I would normally do on this channel. We will try to do maybe some energy clarifications initially. We'll mostly be using channeled messages oracles today. I don't think we're going to get to the other oracles that I normally use. So there'll be lots of channeled messages today. That'll be the bulk of today's reading. And then finally we'll do some tarot for the most in-depth reading to do with their lessons. So it'll be, yeah, the more healing and lesson stuff will be right at the end, kind of a little bit more of the raw and real we'll start with, to kind of like figure out maybe more their regrets and kind of where they're at now, and then the tarot will hopefully reveal deeper things at the end. So yeah, wherever you're being drawn to, either pile 1, 2 or 3, you can head there using the timestamps below. I will leave you a little freeze frame if you need a little bit more time to kind of choose a pile without me distracting you. But yeah, all the usual disclaimers. Go with your intuition, remembering that you might be drawn to, that's going to annoy me, You might be drawn to more than one pile. That's normal. Just honoring wherever your intuition is sending you. And wherever you end up, I will see you there in a moment. Hey there, Pile 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful pink agate crystal, then this reading is probably for you, but oh my god, no. I don't know where all this like kind of ash has come from, but yeah, here we are. Yeah, if you chose this crystal, then this reading is probably for you. We're just going to find out a little bit more about what energies are here, and maybe just like some basic messages about what their regrets might be as well. We will pull from my jar of kind of magic tricks. As well, to get like detailed descriptions. So this person's probably an air sign or a water sign mostly, or they have those dominant energies in their chart. Got Gemini, Pisces, another Gemini, double Scorpio, Taurus, and air and water. So that can also be Aquarius, Libra, Cancer as well. We've already said Scorpio, and maybe a couple of Aries as well. It seems like the sensation you get from this person is that you're supposed to teach each other lessons. Maybe you're supposed to kind of wake each other up spiritually. Maybe you're supposed to teach each other about what your values are and what your kind of non-negotiables are. There may have been either some good communication or some communication issues in this connection, probably both, at different times depending on what the topic was. There might have been good communication when you weren't necessarily super triggered, but maybe when you guys were kind of dealing with more deep unconscious twin flame mirroring kind of energies, you might have really struggled to communicate and to really see things from each other's point of view. These are both kind of spiritual energies. These both reflect a lot of duality, and about trying to see things from a totally different perspective than maybe what is kind of natural or easily accessible to the self. Gemini rules the Lovers card in the tarot, so often when it comes out, it refers to important divine counterpart kind of connections like karmics, soulmates, twin flames, but just important ones that are really part of your path in life, essentially. What else do we have? That's mostly what I'm getting. But we'll get some more descriptors of this person. We'll find out a little bit more about them. So I'll be asking so that pretty much everyone here gets at least one descriptor. So if none of these come out for you, then you might need to go back and try again, especially if this didn't resonate. However, if this does resonate, or at least half of them do, then you know that you're in the right place. If most of them resonate, this might be your only reading. If it's closer to half, you might have additional messages in another pile. So yeah, just like honoring your intuition of whatever that's saying for you. So this person's ambitious, maybe has a nurturing side, broad nose, adventurous, successful. They may have darker skin than you, or dark skin, or dark in comparison to some of your other past partners. Maybe more almondy shaped eyes. Avenger energy is someone who kind of like bats for the little guy, especially after they've been wronged. Dark brown hair or black hair, somewhere in between. Goal orientated, intelligent, loner. I mean, like, they may be more introverted or just need some time to themselves a lot. Cheerful. Energetic. This can be like they have a lot of energy, or they're just like very sensitive to energies. Athletic. So I'd say for the majority it's the former, but yeah. Open. The head may be on the short side or shorter than yours. Warrior. Yeah, we've got a lot of kind of masculine energies, I would say. Calm. Tanned. Round eyes, so if they're not almond, they'll be round. And they may have a kinky side to them. So if you feel like you're in the right place still, let's get some channeled messages for y'all to find out a little bit more about maybe where this person is at, either kind of in general around this period in their experience, or where they're at maybe even today, even if it's with someone else, but it's reminiscent of stuff you went through with them. So yeah, there'll be like a variety of situations. Are we lost? Messages about where this person is at. Okay, so it seems like this connection might have kind of been through it, but is maybe in a bit of a better place than what you have been in the past. This person might be with someone else at the moment, or you might be with someone else. There may be like some sort of third party, or the two of you have just, I would say, kind of moved on a fair bit from each other. And the two of you might be experiencing a bit more kind of joy, abundance, laughter, play, and just like enjoying life. This person probably is really thinking about a family, and whether or not either this connection or past connections really were supporting them in their goals in terms of having a family. They may have also thought about kind of true love and maybe making an apology of some kind to you. And maybe this new connection, if they are entertaining a connection, or maybe just their approach to connections in general right now, is just like more sexual. Like they might be kind of figuring some stuff out, so they might not be in a place to take things seriously right now. They might be trying to kind of clarify what they really want before they kind of make deep commitments to anyone right now. So yeah, it does seem like they're doing a fair bit of learning, especially around like love, family, and like making sure that they're enjoying their life too. Do we have any more messages about maybe where this person is at? So yeah, they're probably starting to understand the connection and a lot of the lessons, and probably understanding a lot of the kind of true love energies that the two of you experience with each other. They definitely regret lying. They want you to know that they are still so attracted to you, that they've been replaying your conversations over and over, and they, deep down, they really want to tell you how they feel now, how they felt in the past. And maybe just clarify some things, especially things to do with this apology, like maybe wanting to give you maybe more depth and detail about what was really going on for them that maybe they didn't realize at the time, but they realize now that there was kind of more to the story, for them at least. So yeah, any ways that they deceived you, they regret. Even if it was something that maybe they didn't realize they were deceiving you, maybe they were lying to themselves as well, or just like not, yeah, maybe not like, not aware themselves, so they couldn't be honest with you. Okay, so some more energies. It seems like this person is in a relationship. Yeah, I do think like they're in a committed relationship in terms of exclusive, but I think for the majority of people, they're still trying to figure out some stuff about what they want in life and what they value, and how to find the ideal person. So I think they are in a relationship, but I think they're still figuring a lot of stuff out. And maybe this other relationship is helping them kind of learn some more stuff, or maybe allowing them to feel kind of secure enough to learn from their past connections. I'm kind of getting a bit of a vibe of like this connection is like just, there's more ease there. Maybe not as many lessons, maybe not as much intensity, maybe not as much mirroring, maybe not as much spirituality. So yeah, maybe it's kind of what they need right now. It does seem like there's a lot of like kind of wishing that they could go back and regret from the past, and like wishing they could still do things differently, wishing that they could have another chance, wishing that like kind of didn't go the way that it went. But yeah, I think this person maybe hasn't finished learning their lessons. So basically this connection with you is essentially beyond them, and it's probably beyond them to actually initiate a lot of this apology and telling you how they feel. Like, I think they want to, but I don't think they're kind of in a place where they can do that in a empowered way. Like, I think this, for them, this relationship feels too hard. They do want you to know that they are sorry about how things went down. They definitely wish it could have gone different. It seems like whatever this person's doing right now, it's important that they're not with you. They probably are aware that you're maybe either watching them on socials, or just like keeping tabs on them through other people or something. And they're kind of like curious about what you want from them, because I don't think they think that they have much to offer you. They potentially think you're out of their league, and that maybe the two of you were supposed to be kind of lessons, and maybe you'll be always kind of the one that got away. But yeah, like, I think they've kind of accepted that at the same time. And with this, I wondered how far this would go energy. I think this is like, they were kind of deep down always expecting it to end at some point. And I think they wish it didn't end, but yeah, maybe there's some like higher plan to the two of you not kind of ending up together, but just being this like really, really important lesson and really, really important part of each other's past, and like so meaningful. And yeah, I think, yeah, there's definitely a lot of regret here. There's definitely a lot of sorrow. There's definitely a lot of kind of wishing things didn't go the way that they went. But we'll get some deeper messages about this person's kind of lessons and healing. Okay, so this person learned a lot about true love with you, and also kind of like how much they had to heal. Like I said, like earlier, you guys mirrored a lot to you. There was a very deep spiritual part of this connection. And there was definitely something divine about this connection. There might be a mix of people here. Like, I would say for the majority of people, this was always a connection that was supposed to be really, really important for the two of you, but ultimately left in the past. But yeah, I'd say that may not be everyone here. But yeah, that's definitely the dominant energy, that this is going to be a leaving it in the past, learning a lot of lessons, learning a lot about how to have a very deep spiritual relationship with someone, and also just like how to go about like becoming the best version of yourself in relationship, like using that mirroring to learn lessons and grow as a person in the relationship. Maybe the two of you triggered each other too much to do that last part, that growing part, but the two of you did mirror each other enough to kind of give you an idea about kind of the potential of relationships, if you can kind of be enough in your light and embrace shadow work enough to not let the shadow like kind of derail connections. this Temperance card, this is a Sagittarius energy, so this has a lot to do with spiritual development, personal development, travel, higher education. This person might be either traveling more now, getting a better education, or just like growing and learning a lot. Maybe they're much more spiritual. This Nine of Wands, this is a moon in Sagittarius energy, and it's definitely a lot about boundaries, establishing healthy boundaries, staying within your boundaries when you're challenged, kind of knowing what's right for you, and like caring about yourself enough to like take care of yourself. Essentially, this is double Sagittarius energy, so this is heavy personal development that this person's going through. They maybe also figured out ways that they were ultimately unfulfilled in their connections in the past, or maybe like not realistic in their connections. Maybe also they weren't honest in their connections in the past. Maybe they didn't nurture themselves, and maybe they didn't nurture their partner either, including you, but just in general. And so yeah, they definitely realized that this Four of Cups, this is a moon in Cancer energy, and so yeah, it seems like they just want to take much better care of their partners in the future that they weren't able to do with you. And also we have this Ace of Pentacles energy. So this is all about kind of working on finances. So this person is a little bit insecure about their finances, and they're definitely working on that now. Maybe this education has a little bit to do with that. And they are also like much more aware of how manifestation works and how energies work. And yeah, they're essentially more committed to the manifestation process and manifesting what they want for themselves. So yeah, overall, I would say that this connection is deep, it's spiritual, it's very intentional. I think for the majority of people here, it was definitely a connection that will stay in the past. I think for the people who this connection will stay in the past for, it'll be a mix of people that do eventually get that reconnection, maybe even apology. But yeah, I think yeah, overall, like, it seems like a very big, very important connection. There was a lot of lessons learned here, and it definitely made you better people. But yeah, I think maybe there was like a little bit too much triggering, and maybe a little bit too early in your lifetime. But I think this person, this connection will set you both up to experience like much deeper love in the future. And I think the two of you will both have a lot more humility, compassion, and an ability to be humble and put your pride aside a lot more based on what this connection taught you, as well as like knowing when to stand up for yourself and when not to let someone else kind of take out their pain on you based on hurts and wounds that you didn't inflict on them. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of lessons here. But I think I'm going to leave that here. I hope you got everything out of the reading that you really wanted and needed today. It's been a pleasure reading for you. And until I see you again, ciao. Hey Pal 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose this beautiful moonstone, then this reading is probably for you. But yeah, use your intuition and discernment as always. We're going to start by getting more overview energies. So this can be the person's energies, as well as kind of the general themes of maybe your regrets and lessons with each other, and then we'll go deeper into it by getting our channeled messages oracle, and then deeper still using our tarot. So to start with, can we have some cards to represent the energies of this person and maybe some of the energies of what they're learning or regretting? So we have double Leo energy, but we do have a fair bit of Earth energy with this 10th house and Earth element. So that's Capricorn, Taurus, and why am I blanking? Virgo. We have some air energy with Aquarius, and some Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energies as well. Little bit of Gemini. They're the main energies here. They're the main signs that are here. I would say that this connection was equal parts really challenging and really beautiful. Like in parts, it was just like maybe so easy, so many synchronicities, so much magic. And then in other parts, like super challenging. Maybe you mirrored each other really intensely. Maybe you both brought out each other's best and worst at different times. I would say that this person's fairly intellectual with Uranus and the third house coming out. This is kind of more of a Mercury kind of thinking, because this is a little bit more detail orientated. And like kind of understanding the kind of nitty gritties in life, whereas this is a bit more of a broad thinker. This might be a thinker who thinks about like world issues, social issues, humanitarianism, things like animal rights, climate change, like anything that you need to be a really big picture, more web-like thinker for. Maybe things like sexism, homophobia, transphobia, like all of that sort of stuff this person might be concerned with. This person may have given you a bit of a sensation of feeling like home in a way, like it was almost like coming home to someone. And this, just based on this fourth house energy, this is where we develop a lot of our conditioning about the world based on kind of how the world is presented to us through the lens of our own family. So yeah, maybe they felt like home in a way that like mirrored back to you some like hot topics almost from your childhood. So maybe this is where a lot of that provoker energy came from. Like maybe there was some ways that they mirrored maybe some of the better qualities of your early caregivers, and maybe some ways that they mirrored some of the same shadow. You may have been able to sense that this person was a big deal, like as soon as you met them, based on this water element coming out. Usually this refers to just being aware that there's kind of something there, like knowing in your gut, essentially, like your intuition just goes ping, like there's something about this. You might have met at work, or maybe issues to do with your public image and how you're perceived might have came up in this connection. This person might be fairly grounded and stable in a way, or just like really concerned with their career and like setting themselves up, especially financially. But I think that's about all I'm getting. We'll get some more details about them. So we'll try and get at least a couple for everyone. So yeah, seeing how many of these resonate. If none of these resonate and not many of these really resonated, you might need to go back and try again. Try a different pile. But yeah, if like at least half or most of these resonate, then you're probably in the right place. Or this might clarify that this is actually about someone different than what you thought it was going to be. So yeah, trusting your own intuition. So we have dark brown hair, straight nose. The hair may be curly on the curly side, or they may curl it themselves. They may have a strong nose. They may be muscular, maybe introverted. Maybe lanky. If they're not muscular, they'll be lanky. They may have blue eyes. They may be quite critical. This is definitely this earth energy. They're really good critics. So is some of the air signs. Brown hair, so we've had brown and dark brown. Dark skin. Avenger. This is definitely this Uranus energy. This is really going to bat for the little guy or the person who's like at a disadvantage, especially after they've been in some sort of situation where they've experienced either mistreatment or something based on something usually without outside of their control, or something unfair and unjust in some way. This person may be fairly sexual and sensual, so that's nice balance, to be honest. Yeah, so hopefully most of those resonated to let you know that you're in the right place. We're going to get some channeled messages. So this first one will ask more kind of maybe what the situation is, and then I have some other oracles that'll tell us a little bit more about either what they're thinking right now, or like kind of just like what sort of position they're in, what's kind of coming up, any like immediate regrets or things that they're kind of figuring out. Okay, it seems like it's important that essentially nothing happens in this connection right now, and that you have strong boundaries around what kind of access this person has to you. It seems like it's important that you guys are doing you right now, I would say. And that's not to say that you need to be in no contact if you are in contact with this person, but just know the timing's not right to pursue this connection. But there's a possibility of it going down a sacred union marriage route in the future for you guys. Just know that everything happens for a reason. Everything that's happening now is part of the plan, part of the divine protection, part of everything going the way you guys need it to go. It seems like maybe what this person is learning and maybe what you're learning is really important, and the two of you need to do that learning essentially before you can pursue this connection, because it may, like, boundaries are really good in terms of like showing people how to love you, and like not putting yourself essentially in super dangerous triggering situations for you. So yeah, maybe there's some things that are kind of falling into place when it comes to all of this. It does seem like if one or both of you are distracting yourselves with work right now, it's not to the benefit of this connection. It is actually probably delaying some things. Does seem like whether this working less to strengthen your relationship is about these lessons that you need to be learning as individuals, or even just the chance to maybe, like, it could be like working less to be able to connect more if you are in a connection with this person at the moment, even just as friends, like it might help. But yeah, if you are in a no contact situation, it seems like the attention more just needs to go on your own personal development and healing. Not to say don't work, but just like don't overwork, don't become a workaholic, don't distract yourself with work. It's just making sure that you're working in essentially like a healthy balance, so that you can kind of do what you got to do at the same time. We have some more oracles, maybe more specific about their regrets. Okay, so some good stuff has gone down for this person, and the only person they want to tell when that happens is you. But it does seem like there's possibly a no contact situation here. I would say, just based on the way these cards came out, that it's important for the path of this intended path of this connection, that you're not in contact. This contact may actually distract the two of you, especially because of the kind of intense attraction that the two of you feel with each other, and also this kind of intoxicating energy. This can refer to what we were talking about earlier in terms of this blessings and provoker energy, like someone who kind of mirrors all of your darkest shadow but also reflects all of your kind of highest light. Like people like that, you have to really be ready for them, because they are a time. At the moment when they hear about you, they're not reacting. There's obviously some reason why they're keeping things more to themselves and maybe not entertaining this connection too much. There might still be some pain there, or maybe they're just like really focused on becoming a better person, and kind of doing what they got to do. They may have even gone about making this happen in maybe some shady ways with this "I knew exactly what I was doing" energy. This can refer to someone kind of ghosting, cutting off, usually with some sort of like good intentions in mind, but essentially the way that they do it is kind of shady. So yeah, like that's really something you might need to explore in terms of your own boundaries. Like, is the behavior, does the end justify the means, essentially, for you? And like that will be very personal around whether the ends justify the means or not. It'll really depend on your own boundaries and like essentially how much that hurt you, and how much that what the negative consequences of those actions were for you. If they were like really detrimental, then maybe them doing things the way that they did it is like a big red flag for you, and like kind of something that might put you off from pursuing this connection. If not, yeah, it probably will still be a discussion, honestly. But yeah, this person may have started experiencing some jealousy, or like just being afraid whenever they see you with anyone that it's a potential new partner. There's definitely some insecurity here, and definitely some wishing things could be different. But yeah, I don't really see this person making any big moves to make it different right now. And it does seem like this is part of the plan. Okay, so you guys may have struggled with what you guys value. Okay, so there's definitely an issue with values with the two of you. Like, you may value different things, and there may need to be some sort of negotiation around how the two of you can work together if you do value different things. Or potentially this person might be more in a place of like being worried that you don't share the same values, and maybe this is coming from a place of miscommunication or misunderstanding. So yeah, there may need to be some rectifying of values. For the people that are pretty sure this connection is going to be left in the past, like that might be kind of the boundary for you in terms of like choosing not to pursue this. But yeah, for those of you who do want to pursue this connection, yeah, this is going to, this lesson, this values lesson, how to work with people that maybe don't align with you on every single thing, is going to be a point of tension and something that the two of you will have to work out. But this person definitely is wondering how you feel. They felt so happy with you. But yeah, as we were saying before, they're in a pretty insecure place, and they need to move to a place of security. From that place of insecurity, they're definitely watching your social media. They definitely don't want to let you down. But yeah, I think this "I won't let you down" is like, maybe they regret letting you down in the past. Could we have some shadow oracles? Okay, so we have "I'm waiting for an apology." Yeah, it seems like this person was equally as hurt by you as you were by them. So there's definitely gonna be a need for the two of you to apologize to each other, especially if you want to pursue this connection. If you don't, there's definitely a good chance that you'll apologize and forgive each other in a more distant way, maybe without necessarily connecting to do it, but there definitely needs to be some sort of like forgiveness happening, just to like relieve the two of you. This "I'm waiting for an apology" energy from them might, for some of you, be coming from a bit of a toxic place, maybe a little bit of righteousness that this person might need to work through. But yeah, I would say that there would be things that the two of you need to apologize for. I'm just, if I'm just getting for some people that this is not coming from the best place. And it's not coming from a genuine, it was 50-50, the two of you need to kind of rectify things. It seems like this person's definitely in a loop with connections. They've definitely been in this same place before. They may have been fairly careless with you. They've probably been struggling since, and they're definitely kind of like vividly remembering how you guys left things, and maybe the last time you saw each other. And yeah, they still fantasize about you and probably fantasize about getting back together. I would say this is especially for people that this connection's not over yet. But yeah, we'll get kind of like the deeper regrets and lessons from our tarot. Okay, it seems like this person either has or is learning kind of how to clean slate with each other, maybe start again on more equal footing. They may also be understanding more and more how they came into this connection from a place of insecurity and lack, and like maybe not enoughness or anything like that, as well as any either illusions they might have been under, where they were coming from this place of like either projection or kind of imagining you to be different from what you were. Yeah, there's like kind of equal parts like insecurity for them and then also projection, I would say, and they just had to learn a lot about how to kind of accept you for you and also how to accept themselves for themselves. Like, I do find this interesting that both these came out. Like, I think maybe a lot of the reason why they projected so much onto you was because they were coming from a place of lack within themselves. And yeah, I think this definitely has taught them kind of what this connection really was. It's definitely a intense connection for everyone here. It's definitely a very intentional connection, regardless of whether you're in the getting back together or never contacting each other again camp. Like whichever one you're in, like this was an important connection. It was an important part of your lessons. It was an important kind of mirror to show you kind of where you're really at in terms of your spirituality, your spiritual development, and just like teaching you a lot of things with this card. Yeah, you obviously had a lot to teach each other, and I would say this connection put the two of you on the right track for you to end up with who you're supposed to end up with, whether that's each other again or whether it's someone else. But yeah, I did definitely get a lot of mixed energies here in terms of like some people definitely coming back to a union, some people definitely not. It's definitely very mixed, but I would say that basically the issues that the two of you are going to resolve either on your own if you're not going into a reunion, or together if you are, for the most part, will also be an important part of this kind of process, and kind of solidifying those lessons. So yeah, I would say this definitely feels like very mirroring, very complex, very intense. Definitely there was a lot of insecurity that came up. Yeah, the two of you might have made each other super insecure. But I think I'm going to leave this here. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. Thanks so much for watching all the way through and supporting me by liking, comment, and subscribing. And until I see you again, ciao. Hey there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So if you chose this beautiful highlight crystal, then this reading is probably for you. We're just going to start with kind of getting some of your person's general energies and maybe a little bit about this connection. Maybe a little overview about kind of the nature of the lessons and regrets. We'll just see what comes out. So we have double Sagittarius energy, a little bit of Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Scorpio, Gemini, Virgo, and Leo are the main signs here. I would say that this person is probably really into either travel, personal development, or higher education with this double Sagittarius energy. Potentially this connection also taught you both a lot about spiritual development, and kind of seeing things from a higher perspective, and maybe just like having a little bit more reverence for life in general. It seems like this connection like deeply affected both of you and definitely changed a lot for the two of you. Solar eclipse changes usually refer to kind of like upgrades, whereas lunar eclipses more refer to kind of letting go of anything that's not serving you, things that need to be left in the past. It's kind of a little bit more destroy, create a void, and then fill it with something better energy, whereas this solar eclipse is more just like upgrading potentially what you already have. they're probably fairly intellectual, or you may have found them to be an intellectual equal to you with these energies. Mercury is a little bit more of a detail orientated, like good at like maybe life admin and like the kind of fundamentals of how things work, where Uranus usually represents someone who's able to think much bigger picture, usually more of a web-like thinker, usually has good intuition, usually cares about social issues, human rights, and things like that, because they're looking at life in a more broad and connected way. I would say Mercury is slightly more masculine thinking and Uranus is slightly more feminine thinking. I would say the two of you might feel more aligned with your kind of dharma in life. Like you might both be a lot more clear on like what you're doing, why you're doing it. And maybe both of you definitely matured more in this connection with this Saturn energy. Yeah. I would say this connection definitely matured you a lot. Any way that you were naive before this connection probably came to light, and you probably grew up a lot. Yeah, this might have created some sort of awakening in you, or it might have helped you replay some patterns that you needed to pay attention to in order to see and heal. But yeah, I would say this connection, at least initially, started with a lot of fun, dating, romance, and maybe didn't feel like it was going to get super deep, but then eventually did with this Pisces energy. This is usually a deep spiritual connection where the two of you mirror each other's stuff to each other, so that you can kind of see it and heal it. I'm not really getting anything in terms of their regrets or lessons yet. I feel like most of that was more about their energy. We'll find out a little bit more about them using our little descriptors. So hopefully you'll get like at least a few of these. But yeah, there may be a mix of people here. If none of these are really resonating and that didn't resonate, you might be in the wrong place. You might need to go back and try again. But let's get a little bit more about this person, and then we'll get a little bit more into the lessons and regrets. Okay, so it seems like this person's probably a good networker. They're also a good mentor. They may do both of these for their career with this Saturn energy coming out. Visionary. So yeah, this is all of this Mercury and Uranus energy, as well as Leo. Leo's very creative. Got some introvert energy. White blonde hair, or they may dye it that color, or they may have had that color hair as a child or in the past, or light blonde. So got kind of like an array of blondes here. They may be a good leader. They may be confident. This is also fairly Leo-ish energy. They may be prone to a bit of hot-headedness. They may be a bit of an avenger. This is definitely this Uranus energy, like concerned with social issues and kind of people being treated fairly. The hair may be fairly straight, maybe fairly sensual. May have a triangular face. They may be very responsible. If it's not triangular, it's oval. Either way, it's kind of like referring to a fairly pointed chin. Maybe a bit of a bookworm. This is definitely the Sagittarius energy. Medium hair length. And tanned. Okay, so we'll get some channeled messages oracles. This one will kind of say a little bit more about maybe where things are currently at, and then we'll get some more channeled messages in terms of deeper messages from them. This will be a little bit more of an overview. Okay, so probably for the majority of people here, this connection may be one that's potentially staying in the past. It may have been super passionate but not enduring. Definitely kind of what we're saying before, like there was a lot of like passion, romance, definitely a lot of learning, spiritual awakening. But yeah, maybe this is not kind of a forever thing. Maybe there's some red flags in terms of the two of you maybe not aligning well. Some of those red flags might have to do with being ultimately on different pages, not sharing the same vision, not really being able to make your lives work together without the two of you having to sacrifice something deeply important or a non-negotiable. And maybe also like some of each of your values and morals aren't going to gel well with each other in terms of practically having a life together. But know that everything happens for a reason. So even though the majority of people here probably won't have this connection in the future, or at least not as their like super long-term connection, it definitely was very important. The lessons that the two of you had and have for each other still are very important, especially in aligning the two of you with your kind of like highest good, your highest callings. But we'll get a little bit more depth to do with their kind of regrets and things that they wish they could tell you about how things maybe didn't go that great. Okay, so it's likely this person left before you could leave them. And yeah, they definitely may, for a fair few of you, they may regret that, kind of leaving the way they left, like leaving from a place of fear. Even if the two of you weren't supposed to be together ultimately, I don't think they kind of wanted to leave things the way they left things. And for those who feel like this connection will get another chance in the future, whether long term or not, yeah, there may be some like maybe fear that the way that they left things might be impacting that, and that might even be true for some of the people that definitely won't give them another chance. This person looks for you everywhere. They're definitely working on themselves right now. They definitely reminisce about this connection and stay awake at night thinking about you, thinking about all the lessons that they are learning, that they have learned. So many things remind them of you, and they definitely feel very connected to you energetically. I would say, especially for people that this separation was maybe a little bit more recent, there was definitely some sort of deep connection between the two of you, or is a deep connection between the two of you. Even like things that aren't forever are still important, ultimately, is what we're trying to say. The test of a deep connection is not length, it is something usually that you feel within yourself. So part 3, I would say this feels like maybe a more recent connection, disconnection for most of you. So yeah, there's still a lot of feelings for each other. There's still a lot of energetic connection. There's still a feeling of not being over you, maybe some reminiscing over texts and social messages, maybe like rereading them. Maybe some of the lessons haven't kind of solidified yet, like this person's still learning them, or very much in the process of maybe even healing, or just like taking care of themselves so that they can learn them. They're aware that they can't really pursue this connection right now. For those who maybe want another chance in the future, and for those that don't, they're probably aware that this won't work in the future, but they're still kind of working out what the lessons are. I think pretty much for everyone here, they're not really clear on what you want in the future, maybe what you wanted in the past. And yeah, there's definitely some confusion for them in regards to your energy. And they potentially have some regrets around not being able to figure out what you wanted and not being able to give you those things. But yeah, they're probably still fairly hung up on you for the majority of people in this reading. There's a lot of like kind of holding on energy for this reading in particular. But yeah, this person's really confused by what you wanted from them, or what you, or even like what you want from them now. For some people, like there's definitely a lot of confusion with you. I don't think they feel like you're being very clear. So we have definitely some, I think they're definitely keeping heavy tabs on you. They're kind of like more aware of what's going on with you than you think. But yeah, they're definitely focusing on their healing right now, maybe getting to a place where they can learn lessons properly from this connection. Because definitely a lot of pain was triggered in this connection. And maybe they distracted themselves from that pain with conflict with you in some way, like either creating the conflict or like adding fuel to the fire in terms of conflicts, so that there was kind of something else to either worry about or just like distract them from maybe some of their inner pains and insecurities. But yeah, they're definitely pretending that you don't mean that much, because yeah, they're definitely still coming from this very wounded place. And I think it's probably important for them to kind of let this go, and they're kind of like acting as if they have, even though they haven't, because that's kind of what they know they want and need right now, ultimately, to figure some stuff out, because there's definitely a lot of confusion for this person. What deeper regrets and lessons do we have? Okay, so this connection was probably out of balance. They may not have committed to you as deeply as they wanted to. They may have been afraid of commitment. They may have not been as dependable as what they would have liked to have been. I think this connection ultimately taught them how to be a much more responsible, faithful person, and definitely taught them about how they need to serve others equally to themselves, and definitely how they need to how much more they need to be focusing on their own healing, especially so they don't pass it down to any offspring. The King of Pentacles is a big kind of father energy. It really wants to have kids, and it definitely doesn't want to pass down kind of generational wounds and traumas to their children, which I think they would do if they did that, like if they would have kids right now, or even they think they might have done that with their existing children if they have them. And yeah, they're essentially trying to be a better version of themselves in terms of this father energy, and heal. I do think at the moment, there's some regret for the two of you not seeing it through. Maybe they look back and think like, I should have married them. But yeah, they also know that the connection was out of balance and they weren't in the right place for that. So yeah, I think this person's like definitely, they kind of, I would say they almost feel stuck, because like they kind of wish things could have gone different, but at the same time they know they weren't ready for it to go any other way. This Seven of Cups energy, this is a Venus in Scorpio energy, and this is this does have a lot to do with confusion. So this person definitely has been confused in this connection, and I think they really wish that they had maybe kept their mind a little bit clearer. Maybe they were like really overcome with their own kind of toxic patterns, and kind of like even addiction to their own suffering. I think they wish they had have been able to turn away from that, because potentially they might have sabotaged some things just based on these energies, and they wish that they hadn't. Yeah, there was definitely some imbalances in this connection. They wish they had have known how to resolve the imbalances in a healthy way. But I think upon hindsight, they're going to learn a lot of this. They're going to learn how to be in connection, show up better, and they're going to figure out how they can engage in like really committed relationships, really focused on their own healing, but also offering a lot of support and like love for a partner. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm not really getting anything else. I hope you got everything you wanted and needed out of this reading, or I hope it entertained you at the very least. Thanks so much for watching all the way through and supporting me by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It's been a pleasure reading for you. And until I see you again, ciao.